Alright then, frankly I'm surprised that this happened, but this is a good surprise nonetheless. Though before I go into all the intricate details of what the fuck happened, I'll quickly go over additional changes coming up in game update released in 24th October. Now honestly, devs, what happened with naming game updates with certain numbers or names? I liked it better, but okay, that's just a small nitpick there. It just makes it easier to find them after all. So anyways, moving on. First changes in relation to today's topic are Tier 1 and Tier 2 bolt action sniper rifle buffs. For Tier 1, that is XM98, M77B and Bolt Driver, all will have slightly quicker reloads, which frankly wasn't really needed, but fuck, I'll take any buff. Then for Tier 2 bolt actions, that is V10, LA80 and SR7, magazine size is increased from 5 to 8 bullets, which is awesome. This actually will finally justify that 1000 cert price tag. Before this, you had Tier 3 bolt actions with the same price, but better, objectively. So why would you buy Tier 2 sniper? Now, certainly you have a good excuse. After that, EMP's nanite cost has been tripled, and as much as it pains me to say, this is well deserved. And so is Cyclone's accuracy nerf. And so is Motion Spotter's nerf, but frankly with this nerf I would prefer to have 2 active spotters allowed, to compensate it somehow. But come on, I don't want any nerfs on my poor infiltrator. So yeah, there are some love coming for infiltrator in this patch/update, which is really nice. But you probably came to me seeking an opinion on new changes for the inglorious trap. So after about 2 weeks of making the original trap quote-unquote review, devs, or at least one of them, made some changes for the weapon. And even though it's very likely that it was done in light of the video, I'll go with the statement that it was just a lucky coincidence. And to refresh your memory, I bitched about trap being a complete shit because of several things. Starting with fire modes being crap except for 3-round burst, total damage in magazine and magazine size, and probably the biggest gripe I had was with reload times. And yeah, I know it's in sniper category and weapon reloads are appropriate to that category, but for fuck's sakes, it's simply not a sniper, so exception can be made. Now, as far as I managed to read up on what devs said about moving trap to scout rifles, the answer was as follows, and I paraphrase. Due to sniper directives and stuff, trap won't be reclassified. Maybe when there will be something to replace trap in that directive, it might be reclassified. So in short, this ain't gonna happen because of this other thing that very much sounds like an empty excuse. And yeah, sure, classification is just a pointless text piece in description. But what if it prevents trap of actually having better reload times? Well now, then it's a problem, don't you think? Now onto the things that we actually got in this update. First off, we have magazine increase by not my suggested 6 bullets, but by 3. And yes, that's a step in right direction. But it still means that trap is the weakest sniper or semi-auto weapon out there. And yeah, another change was that the semi-auto mode was actually, thank Vanu, removed from the trap. But you know, I still count it in with semi-autos because where else will you put it? That aside, we also got a change in accuracy, buffing it, which should have been pretty much done when all the other burst weapons got buffs. But hey, I guess better late than never. Even though it will extend trap's range by, well, let's say few meters, it still lacks that damage output that other semi-autos have. And of course, again, I'm pointing to the reload. You know, back in my original review, I said that the repeater feels better than the trap. And you know what? After testing it a little bit, it actually is better. Up to like 15 meters or so. Which actually is more or less pistol's effective range. Not to mention that that's also trap's effective range. Plus some extra meters. And so when you think about it, it's actually more beneficial to use your sidearm instead of your main gun. And now that's disgraceful. Because as far as I see it, pistols in Planetside are basically a weapon that you pull out to kill off one enemy, and it's supposed to be worse than your primary. But when you take a look at that disgrace, the only upper hand trap has over repeater is damage per mag, and that extra range past those 15 meters. And everything else is better on repeater, so you have to ask yourself a question. Why would I use trap? Another question I have for devs is, are you guys even focusing on proper weapon balance? Or you just care about nerfing and buffing constantly carbines, LMGs and assault rifles? Seriously, weapons like Emperor and Cerberus are lacking compared to other pistols, and I'm sure there are a few other weapons that have never received any attention, and no one gives a flying fuck? Because for all you know, there are better weapons to use, so no harm, right? No. If devs say that these weapons should be more like side grades, not upgrades, then each piece should be more or less equal, or compensate in some other way. And here goes another question. What are you guys focusing on when doing balance passes? Fuck, I think I recall over 9,000 balance passes on Orion alone, and yet there is only one recent change for the trap that improves it, yet it still needs work. How about we focus on the whole game, not just the niche MLG wannabe pro angle? As for the last thing, yes, recent changes for the infiltrator are mostly good, especially for the trap, but it still needs work. As for everything else besides the infiltrator changes, meh. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, yeah, good joke, yes.